What's up everybody, this is Master Ian Gamer, and we have just gotten images of the upcoming Lego Overwatch sets, which are supposed to be released sometime fairly soon. So in this video, I'm going to go in depth with analyzing these images we have of the sets, to talk about what's good, what's bad, and what else we might be able to expect in the future. So to start, I do have to say that unfortunately, it looks like I wasn't able to end up making my predictions video for what these sets were going to be. However, it turns out I didn't have to, as basically every single one of my original predictions from the very original teaser ended up being right. And I'll get to that as I go through the sets themselves. So first up, starting with the smallest of these shown sets, we have Tracer versus Widowmaker, which features the Watchpoint Gibraltar payload along with Tracer and Widowmaker. This is the smallest of these sets so far, being only $15 USD. And overall, yeah, I think it's pretty decent. I think the payload design is fairly spot on, and they even added a little part where you can remove some of the bricks on the top to put a character in as if they were to actually drive it. Now, I know from experience that Tracer would never be that close to a payload, but I think we can suspend our disbelief just because it's a toy. The figures themselves, I have to say, look pretty decent. I think they put a lot of good molding effort into Widowmaker's visor on top, and Tracer herself looks just fine. One thing you may be noticing though, just from looking at these initial images, is the guns. Now the guns themselves do not have individual molds, but rather they are brick built using standard Lego pieces. And in this set, I think Tracer and Widowmaker's guns actually look pretty decent for what they are. However, there will be some sets I'll point out a bit later on that I don't think quite hold up that well. So let's start moving on. Next up, we have Hanzo versus Genji for $20. And this is the Hanamura set I predicted. Now, I did say originally that I thought it was going to be the first checkpoint with the large bell, but it does look like they instead went with the second point that has the sword. However, they did also include the guy with the cell phone from the animated short, along with Hanzo and Genji. This one is pretty basic. The set layout is, just supposed to be the map's second point. Nothing that special there. I think what everybody's really going to be interested in this set for are the two main minifigures, Hanzo and Genji, both of whom look, well, pretty good, I have to say. As I was expecting, Genji's full helmet is a bit bulky, but again, that was expected, at least in my opinion. And their weapons aren't anything new. These are standard Lego molds that we have for samurai swords as well as bows. So they are not brick built like some of the other sets are going to have, but they do look nice nonetheless. $20 does seem like a bit of a steep price. At least they did throw in the third minifigure with the cell phone guy. Overall, if you're a Shimada Brothers fan, I think you'll definitely want to pick up this set, but otherwise, probably one you're going to want to pass on. Third, we have Dorado Showdown, and this is where I start to have a few issues. So this is a $30 set and features the Dorado payload, which is the truck, as well as a piece of the Dorado map. I was spot on with this prediction when I said that the Dorado truck was going to be a set, and the minifigures that come with it are McCree, Soldier 76, and Reaper. Now the minifigures themselves, once again, look pretty decent. Soldier looks like he has a new hair mold, and McCree and Reaper both have standard cowboy hats and hoods, which we've seen in other non-Overwatch sets. However, the issue that I have with this set comes to the weapons. McCree gets away with having a standard Lego revolver, but Reaper's shotguns and Soldier's pulse rifle, they don't look that great in my opinion. We don't get a whole ton of angles on them or images of what they look like exactly, but especially Soldier's pulse rifle looks very, very blocky and big. And then Reaper's shotguns don't look like shotguns. He looks like he's holding two brick things. Yeah, I don't know if I'm a fan of that. I guess it is what it is. Considering the number of special molds Lego obviously had to come up with for this series when it comes to things like headpieces and hair and whatnot, I can kind of understand why they had to cut back on making special gun molds as well, especially since every hero has a different gun mold. But overall, I think that's a bit of a letdown. Kids playing with the sets I'm sure wouldn't care, but as an older player who would want to get these as a collector sort of item, yeah, I don't know, I'm not really really the biggest fan of that. The truck itself as well, I think, feels a bit minimalistic and blocky. I feel like they probably could have done better with the detailing on it. This is definitely a set where I wish they had just tossed out the Dorado set piece in the background and focused exclusively on building a good Dorado truck, but it is what it is. Again, this is a $30 set, which seems about right looking at how many pieces you get with it, but the actual design and the weapons aren't my favorite thing. Next up, we have the first of the character-focused sets, being Deva and Reinhardt for $40. And as you can see, exactly like a ton of people predicted, we have a brick-built Reinhardt and a brick-built Deva mech. Now, I have to say, I actually really like the design of these, especially Reinhardt. I think Reinhardt's armor is done very well here. The Deva mech, a little bit less so. I feel like it looks a bit simple in the front sort of cockpit area, but it is still definitely her iconic mech. Additionally, you can see that the set includes Deva herself in minifigure form, and also includes the out-of-armor Reinhardt, which you can see just on the top of the box there. For $40, getting these two buildable figures seems like a pretty decent price. However, I'm a little surprised that they didn't split up the two into separate sets, each being $20, because I could easily see somebody wanting just Deva or just Reinhardt. Personally, I would love to get both, so that's not an issue for me, but it does seem like a bit of a odd set choice in that regard. Moving on now, we have another brick-built Bastion in addition to the one which was already released on the Blizzard Gear store. For $50, we have just Bastion. And guess what? This one actually transforms. So yeah, pretty much as I was expecting. The reason they showed off the limited edition Omnic Bastion so much earlier than the rest of these is because this new Bastion is so much better than the Omnic one. It's bigger, it does more, it looks better, and I for one am definitely going to be picking it up, even though I do have the Omnic Bastion one, which I still have yet to do a video review of. I've just had a lot of other stuff going on, so I haven't gotten around to recording that yet. But yeah, you can tell this guy is quite a bit bulkier than the Omnic one, and the transforming function is an absolute plus. Sadly, no tank configuration, but I don't think anyone would have expected that out of a Lego set, because that would require quite a bit of reconstruction, and where do you store the treads? So I can forgive them for that, but I am glad that it does turn into a turret, and overall, I think it does look fairly decent. Another thing to note is that there's apparently a battery-powered light-up brick inside his head, or at least in his body, that goes up to his head, because as we can see in the box art itself, his eye is glowing red, but on the box image above it, it is not. Additionally, you see a little notification on the box saying batteries included, which does mean that it has some sort of battery-powered lighting mechanism within it. Just from looking at Bastion's design, I can't quite tell where that brick is located. I'm guessing they either crammed it into the back of his head, or it's somehow in his body and then has like a tube extending up for the light to travel through. Either way, I think that's yet another great design choice they added in order to make the Bastion robot himself just more interesting. And of course, don't forget he comes with a tiny little Ganymede. And the last of the sets which was revealed today for $90 is Watchpoint Gibraltar. Once again, this is spot on one of the sets I predicted. I knew we were going to be getting the Gibraltar space shuttle because Lego loves building vehicles, and Gibraltar has a massive spaceship, and kids love spaceships. So here we can see this set includes Mercy, Farah, Winston, and Reaper once again. Winston, of course, is the big fig figure that a lot of people were saying he probably would be, and does come with his bulky Tesla cannon and a small jar of peanut butter. Once again, Mercy and Farah both have brick-built weapons. Again, I think they look much better here than the ones for Soldier and Reaper. Reaper, of course, does have his same brick-built weapons here as he does in the Dorado set. And as for the space shuttle itself, I think it actually looks pretty decent. It does come with a bit of the gantry along the side to help support it and get people into the cockpit. And overall, it does seem like a pretty cool set. I'm sure kids will love being able to swoosh around the spaceship, and you could have Farah and Mercy flying alongside it if you wanted. I don't know, kids can do whatever they want with these things. They're fairly creative. And there you go, these have been all the new sets which were revealed for the first wave of Overwatch Lego sets. A total of 12 different minifigures were shown off, with 13 if you count the cell phone dude from the Dorado Showdown. And overall, I kinda have mixed feelings about them. I think the minifigures themselves look great. I think Lego has done a really good job of capturing the aesthetic and design of these characters in the minifigures themselves. However, a lot of their weapons seem a bit mediocre at best, especially Soldier 76's pulse rifle. Maybe if we get a view of it from a different angle, it won't look quite so bad, but yeah, I don't think that's the best design right there. Reaper's guns seem similar to that. Some of the other characters, I think their brick-built weapons look okay. Widowmaker's, I think, looks pretty cool, actually. And as for the sets themselves, they almost have a sort of Lego Juniors sort of vibe going on, where the detailing of the sets doesn't seem quite on par with what you would expect from, like, even Star Wars at this point. Again, given the nature of the game Overwatch, I think the majority of people who want to buy these sets for collector purposes as opposed to actually playing with them as a kid will be primarily interested in the minifigures, and therefore, I think the sets do a pretty good job of representing the characters. And as for the bigger brick-built figures such as Bastion, Reinhardt, and D.Va, these, I have to say, I think are actually my favorites. These would look fantastic displaying on a shelf with the rest of your Overwatch collection, and overall, I think these sets will do a good job of appealing to both the kids who want to play with them and the collectors who want to showcase them. Now, another thing to note is that there are 6 sets which are revealed here. However, previously we did get some information talking about how many sets there are going to be in the first wave, and they said that there would be 6 minifigure-oriented sets, along with a supporting range of minifigure-focused packs. Now, the traditional minifigure sets are, of course, the ones with the traditional minifigures, but we only actually see 4 of them here. The other 2 are the bigger, presumably supporting range of minifigure focused packs that were mentioned in the same article, which means there could actually be more sets which have yet to be revealed. If there are a couple sets we haven't seen yet, personally, I got my fingers crossed that they have Junkrat and Roadhog in them, but we'll have to wait and see. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts about these brand new Lego Overwatch sets and whether or not you think there's something that are worth picking up. As always, be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed this video and share it with a friend if you really liked it. Subscribe, hit the bell, and follow me on Twitter to keep up with all my future Overwatch content. This is Master Ian Gamer signing off, and until next time, you better get your brick on and have a great day.